Hello, everyone. This is John Galt speaking, here with a live stream video for you guys where we're going to talk a little bit about product updates for my products specifically. And I told you guys that I think I did a stream, I don't know, maybe a week ago now, where I think the title was something to the effect of UE5, how bad did it break my projects? And I went in there and poked around and did this and did that, and some were extremely broken, some not so much. And I told you guys that I didn't know if I had any plans on actually updating any of my projects. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. So I started working on a update to a project, and I started with the simple capture the flag. And the reason that I started with the simple capture the flag is because out of all of them, I believe it was the least broken. And so, yeah, I mean, I kind of guess I want to show you guys what I've been up to. So as you can see, we're in Unreal Engine 5 here. So I'm going to hit the go button and prepare to be shocked, because this is quite different than it used to be. So I did some work on the menus, but really I'm not going to talk much about that just yet. So I'm going to hit single player here, and now you actually have the ability to choose between a male and a female. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn in as the Chicola. And yeah, so I've incorporated the new dummies into this project. So yeah, you can be the Chicola. This is the single player. I'm going to be replacing this map too, by the way. So yeah, and then now when you bring the in-game, when you're in single player mode, I really, honestly, I really have no idea why I even put this in here. I think somebody asked me whenever I was getting ready to do an update to the menu system long time ago. Like, I put this thing out, I don't even remember exactly when I put it on the marketplace, but it's been a couple years ago. And when it first went on the marketplace, everything was fine, everything worked okay, but the menu system was clunky as all hell. So I finally decided to break down and redo the entire menu system. And I believe that during that process, I was doing a live stream or something, and somebody said, "How come this don't have single player mode?" And I'm like, because it's a multiplayer template. So anyway, I just went ahead and incorporated a single player mode in it. There's nothing, right? Like, this doesn't even create an online session. It just literally opens a map and plops you in. And it still uses the same menus, the same respawn system. There's just no flags, right? I didn't put any flags in here. It's single player. And when you bring the in-game menu up, it's different than the one when you're in multiplayer. So all you can literally do in single player, and I'm not building out any single player mechanics, just to be clear here. This would be for somebody who buys this template and decides they want to make a single player part. They can start right here, right where it's at. And so anyway, what I was getting at is all you can do in single player mode is resume, right? And it puts you right back where you were. You can go to the main menu, or you can quit game, right? Let me get back in here. Yeah, so that's it. And you can change your gender too. So let me do that real quick. So let's go back in single player. Spawn in as the Chicola. Oh, by the way, I changed the animations too. So this template came with the default UE4 mannequin and I think what I did was actually put Twin Blast travel mode animations in. So since I put the new dummies in, I also went ahead and put in the movement using the animations that I got out of the Lyra starter project. Okay. So she's got this kind of movement, right? So it's nothing fancy. This is not about locomotion, right? It's about capture the flag, and that's all that it's meant to be. But anyway, you can change gender now. So I'm going to go ahead and keel off this girl. When you change gender, it's going to kill you and respawn you. Okay. That's just the nature of how this system's set up. It's easier for me to just respawn you a new player with the correct mesh than it is to try to hot swap it in game, right? And besides that, it would be derpy if you're standing here 1 second and then mash a button or something or open a menu and then you instantly change to the chick. So your punishment for dudes who want to be chicks is either you start as a chick to begin with, and if you decide halfway through your life that you're now want to be a chick, it's going to kill you, right? And then you're going to respawn as a chick. That's what you get for being a gender bender. Okay? All right. So that's all the single player stuff is. So now I'm going to pop into multiplayer. We're going to host up a game. Okay, so now it pre-populates the selections. Okay, so that's changed. So now you can pick which map you want to start on. And it's loaded by default. So in other words, what I'm saying is, used to, when you hit host game, it had all these were blank. There was nothing in them. So you literally had to click them before you could hit host game. Well, now I've pre-populated them with the default map 1, default 2 players, default 5 minutes, so that if you come in here, and I really did this mainly because I was tired of clicking fucking buttons, but you come in here now, you can just hit host game and it'll throw you right in. So this changed a little bit. Now you get to pick, you know, whether you want to be a male or a female. This was a request, actually. So I'm going to spawn in as a female. And then when you pick your gender, it lights up and lets you pick a team. And then you spawn in as a team. So this is a new map. Okay. So, we'll talk a little bit more about this. It's essentially exactly the same as it was, previously, but it's getting some upgrades. Not a tremendous amount of upgrades, but some upgrades nevertheless. And so now, we do host, no, we do find games. This pretty much stayed exactly the same. There's just a few minor tweaks I made to the maps and stuff. Not to the maps, to the menus, right? So we'll go ahead and, let's put this guy as a dude on the blue team. Okay. And so now you can pick your gender and voila. There you have it. And also, same goes here. So if you're already a dude and you click dude, it's just going to put you back in the game. If you are on the blue team and you select the blue team again, it's just going to put you back in the game. Or if you don't click any of these and you just hit resume, it's going to put you back in the game. However, if you decide to change gender after you've already selected your gender, it kills you, right? So he's going to die and he should respawn as the Chicola. And voila, there it is. Also, of course, if you switch teams during mid-game, it's going to respawn you, and it should just pick the chick, right? Because that's what you already were. Okay? All right. So, also, you can go into the lobby. It will kill you and put you into this lobby. So you guys remember me talking about this little lobby. It's really not what most people think lobbies are. Let me look at something here. No, I guess that's right. No, I don't know. I don't know if she's got the right paint job on or not. Let me go put this one in here and let's see what happens. This is a work in progress still. I'm not done with the update, so there might still be a kink or three to work out, and I already see one, right? So it didn't, it's on the client side, by the way. So see on the left screen, this is the server. You can see that these materials and everything are correct. However, if you're looking on the right-hand screen, for some reason, when we come into the lobby, it is not correct. Okay, so there's a kink still I got to work out. Let's see if I switch to a male, if it does the same thing. This has been a nightmare, by the way, getting this updated. Okay, let's see. Is it broke on the client here too? No, it looks like the dude did fine. So let me go back to the chick. I'm kind of testing this too as I'm doing this here, so you guys will have to bear with me. All right, is it still broke on you? Yes, it is. And I bet you already know why that is on the client side. But that's okay. That's not a big deal. I can fix that. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I was going to talk about. Oh, let me say hello to everyone. So hello, Oni. Hello, Yoza. And hello, Alardine. So what's happening, guys? Let me open up this map here real quick. So anyway, this is the new map, right? So it's nothing fancy. It's just, this is specifically for Unreal Engine 5, okay? And so I still have some remnants of Unreal Engine 4 maps in here, like Test Map 2, as an example. I'm going to redo this one, this map, here. And then the single player map is still a remnant. So this is going to get a new map too. But essentially they're going to be, I'm not coming in here map building, right? I mean, you guys can build your own maps. But since they changed, you know, the Sky Dome and the, you know, that you got this where you can do this kind of stuff out in the distance and all that stuff, I figured I'd go ahead and incorporate the new map. Okay, so I've got to create one more map for the multiplayer side, which will probably just be a duplicate of the one that's already made, and I'll just change it around a little bit, kind of like how I did here for this. Oh crap, I didn't mean to close that. I didn't mean to close it. You know what's funny is I thought I tested all that stuff with the you know, the color swaps, but apparently I didn't test it as good as I thought I did. But I've been changing some stuff around, doing some tweaking and cleaning the project up a little bit, optimizing a little bit better, and all that stuff. So anyway, 2 new maps. I've got to do Test Map 2 is going to get a revamp, and the single player map's going to get a revamp. May or may not put crouch in, since these animations, I already brought in the crouch animations. So I may go ahead and implement them, right? Like, let me show you what I'm talking about here. So this animation blueprint, I've already got crouch set up in here. It's just I ain't got the buttons set up to make them crouch. So I may go ahead and implement that too. Do some more bug testing, do some more bug patching, but that's it, right? Like, I'm not going to be adding anything else to it. Like, there's still not going to be any sounds when you pick the flag up, no particle effects or any of that stuff. So it's a minor update, which turned out to be a major update, because going from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, putting in an entirely new mannequin, 2 new mannequins actually, doing some tinkering with the materials to make it where, you know, it displays your colors, right? Look at there. Yep, purple. So when you're in the lobby, you're single player, it turns your character purple. Makes your little light turn purple. And then if you are red, it does red. And if you're blue, it does blue. Okay. So nothing extremely spectacular, but I did do some stuff in here. So used to, there was some stuff in here that ran on Event Tech. I have since removed that and changed it around to take it off of Event Tech. You know, it wasn't hurting anything, but yeah, I did a little differently, just to get it off of Event Tech. So that's cool. I also added this little comment box here because people ask me all the time, I can't find this. So be sure and look in the construction scripts, right? So if you come over here, and you open the construction script, there's stuff in there. Okay. So yeah, some of that stuff that does the color switching of the character and all that, it takes place in the construction script. And then there's also some in the on-rep local team. It does some stuff. And now there is an on-rep is female. Okay. So since I put the gender bender capabilities in, there's some stuff that takes place in the on-rep is female. Essentially, it's just changing the mesh. If you're a dude, it gives you a dude. If you're a chick, it gives you a chick. Okay. And did some tweaks to the menu. And that, I think, that is it. Okay. So let me see. While I'm sitting here doing a test for a second here, let me see something. Is it only when we go to the lobby team that it's broke? Right. So let me pick a female and let me pick the blue team. Okay. So she looks fine over here on the left screen. So let me pick a chick and pick the red team. She looks fine over here on the left side. This is going to be one of these weird ass bugs, isn't it? Nope. That looks fine. Maybe it was just a hiccup. Okay, now let me swap her over to the blue team and see if it breaks. Something broke it, right? I don't know what broke it, but something did. No, it still looks fine. Wow, that is really strange. Okay, let me switch over to the red team. I don't know. That's a new one on me. I'll figure it out. I'll go into the lobby here in just a minute and we'll see. Nope, that's fine. Okay, so now when I go to the lobby, let's see if it's broke. Okay, it looks okay on the left screen. Of course, it always does, right? That's the server. Server never has trouble, generally. Yep. It's the client side when you go to the lobby. Wow, that is weird as hell. Let me actually make a note here. Hold on. Now watch this shit. I bet you, if if I go back to the blue team, look at that. It fixed it. And then if I go back to the lobby, bet it breaks it again. So it's something to do with going into the lobby, which I don't know. It's pretty much the exact same damn shit, same damn way. But that's kind of strange to me that it breaks there. And it may only be the chick, right? So I'm a chick. Let me see if I go to a dude in the lobby, if it breaks. Nope, his is correct. So it's a female only thing, looks like. But let me go out to a team and then come back to the lobby, because that's what originally caused this. And it's correct. So it's something to do. It's something to do with the Chicola. Okay. Right. So that's essentially it, right? I mean, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Oh, actually, there is one more thing. So I don't know. I mentioned this in one of the other live streams, but I want to go ahead and mention it here again. Well, hell, where did the screen go? I thought I had it open, but I guess frickin' not. So we will go fetch it, because it is listed right here. Okay. So if you guys are unaware of this, Unreal Engine 4.27, they broke the Steam stuff in Unreal Engine 4. 4.27, they broke the Steam stuff. That is also true in Unreal Engine 5. It is broken. And as you can see right here, it says that they're not targeting a fix for this until 5.1. How long is it going to be before 5.1 comes out? I don't know. Maybe weeks, maybe months. But I just want you guys to be aware, any of you guys that own any of my projects, I listed it as compliant with Unreal Engine version 4.27. It works, but their Steam plugin, the default Steam plugin that you use to create sessions, join sessions, and all that, somehow they broke it in 4.27. So for any of you guys that own my projects, it is listed as compliant with 4.27, but it is broken. And it will not be corrected until Epic corrects it. It's not a me problem, it's a they problem. So I'm going to put a link in here in chat for you guys. If you guys would like to try to get them to resolve this before the target fix of 5.1, you guys can go to that website that I linked in chat and vote. Upvote this. Upvote the hell out of this, because let me tell you guys what's going to happen here. If they do not correct this for Unreal Engine 4.27, it will forever be broken. Now, there's some people, potentially me included, that is still going to be using Unreal Engine 4 for a long time. How bad will it suck that the very last 4.27 is the last version of Unreal Engine 4? That's it. How bad will it suck that the very last release of 4.27 is broken for the Steam stuff? What I think should happen, which I don't know if it will happen or won't happen, they need to correct this issue in Unreal Engine 4.27. Fine. Leave it broken in Unreal Engine 5 until 5.1 comes out, then correct it. But if they do not fix it in 4.27, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to stick to Unreal Engine 4, and they will want to use the very last version of Unreal Engine 4, which will be 4.27, and it's going to be broken forevermore if they don't fix it. So the reason my products are listed as compliant on the marketplace, compliant with Unreal Engine 4.27, is because it is. It's a they problem, not a me problem. So if I was to go in there and make it where it only supported up to Unreal Engine 4.26, I would lose some sales because people will be like, well, wow, this is not updated to the most current engine version, so I ain't buying it, right? So I did put some fixes in, but I cannot fix this. This is a they problem. This is a, you got to go into the engine and fix problem, okay? Okay. All right, so now I guess what I would like to talk about is, what would I like to talk about? Let's see here. Actually, we could go to it this way. There is something that I want to mention here. We're going to go to the marketplace. Okay, so the update that I'm currently working on is for the simple capture the flag. And as you guys can see, this is a $6 template that I sell. The price is not going to change. All I'm doing is a minor significant update. Okay. Now here's the Debbie Downer part of this. This update that I'm doing right now is only going to be for Unreal Engine 5 forward. Okay. That means that all the versions that I support from 4.15 all the way to 4.27, those are never, ever, ever going to change anymore. Ever. Okay. So this update, when I get it finished, will be released, and it will be Unreal Engine 5 will be the only engine version that it will support. Okay. Okay. I just want to be clear of that. Price ain't going to change. Also, anybody who already owns the simple capture the flag from the marketplace, you guys are going to get the update for free, right? It ain't going to change. You just make sure that when you create a project, you make sure that you specifically tell it to create the project for Unreal Engine 5, not 4. Okay. And it will have all the updates that I put in it. The next one that I'm going to update, the next template that I'm going to update is going to be the multiplayer TPS basic. So when I finish the simple capture the flag update, I'm going to start an update for the TPS basic. Okay. It will also be for Unreal Engine 5 forward. I'm dropping support for Unreal Engine 4. I'm not going to be updating these, adding anything to it, changing anything. It's going to be as is. So after the capture the flag update, I'm going to update the TPS basic. The main reason is because out of all the templates that I sell, the TPS basic is the most popular. Okay. I did the simple capture the flag update first because it's simple. So I can learn all the little nuances in there that I have to change, which then should theoretically make it easier for me to go into the TPS basic and update it because I'm not going in blind. Okay. Okay. It's also going to be getting the new mannequin. So every one of these updates that I do, the main purpose for the update is to get the new mannequins in it. Okay. That's the main purpose. So it's going to have the male and female mannequins in it. And I'm also going to add the same ability for you to choose in the menu, whether you want to play as a male or a female. Okay. Then after I finish that update, the next update will be for the multiplayer FPS basic. That will be the next one. Same treatment. Changing mannequins out, making menu modifications. The very last one will be the teams and class select. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do to it yet, but it's going to be problematic to do an update for. The reason it's going to be problematic to do an update for is because it uses multiple different meshes. I mean, that's the whole point of the teams and class select. It's so that you can pick a class and that class can have a different mesh. You can pick a team and that team can be different meshes. So the only meshes that I have are the male and female new dummies. As placeholder in that teams and class select template, I used all those stupid Infinity Blade characters. Okay. I don't have enough meshes, right? I need, Jesus Christ, I think it's 10 unique meshes to put in it. And I don't have 10. I cannot use anything, that is not from Epic. Well, you know what I might potentially be able to do, but anyway, it's going to be a long way off before that one gets updated. But what I could potentially do is take the Paragon characters that they let us use, strip them down to the bare minimums, and just use different meshes. That could potentially be possible. So maybe that's what I could end up doing. There's 10 of those I could use for sure. Okay. All right. And, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. As far as the timeline for all these updates, I have no idea. Hell, it might be when Unreal Engine 5.1's out. I don't know how long it's going to be before they have that. But hell, it may take me, to get them all complete, it may take me several months to do this. It's a shame that I have to drop support for 4. I mean, I'll still answer questions and stuff like that, but, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They work functionally fine, but I like to try to keep everything the same, right? Like when I add something to one, I like to trickle that out into all my templates because they all use the basic same menu system. And there was some significant work put into the menu system, even in this capture the flag template. It may look similar, but the functionality behind the widgets changed significantly. So we'll have to see, right? I mean, other than that, I don't know what else to say. Still not thrilled with Unreal Engine 5. I can tell you guys that. For sure. Just to show you guys what's broken, and this goes for 4.27 too, okay? The same thing is broken 4.27. The same thing is broken Unreal Engine 5. So just to demonstrate what's broken, let me, well, okay, we could potentially, well, let me show you guys that it works, right? So first, this is a packaged version of this update, by the way, where I was doing some testing. So you can pop into single player. Now you get to pick chick or not. So it'll respawn you as a dude. So see there. And once again, this is going to get a new map. Nothing fancy, but it's going to get a redo because I'm jettisoning all the Unreal Engine 4 stuff and it's still using the Unreal Engine 4 skybox and all that stuff. Okay. Okay, so if I go to multiplayer and I host up a game here, pick a female, put her on the red team, And then we open another instance of this same project, right? Same packaged project. This time around, we go to find games. How about now? How about now? How about now? And we join. And I'm going to put this dude as a dude. Okay. All right. So see there, it works fine. Where it breaks, and the moment that it breaks is when you go to Steam. Okay. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and quit game here. And we will go back to the main. Actually, we need to quit game here as well. So in order to get the Steam side of this to work, you have to have your Steam overlay running, right? Otherwise, it ain't going to work at all. Now, when you have your Steam overlay open, that's what triggers the scripting to look for it, okay? So you got to have that open and running in the background. Now, when you launch this, it's going to utilize the Steam stuff. Watch in the right-hand corner here. See how it pops up, and then you can do the whole shift tab thing, and it shows you're playing a game called Space War and all that stuff. See? Where it's broken is when you go to multiplayer and you click host game. Watch up here in the upper left-hand corner. Okay? Host. Keep watching. We still had one screen yet to go. So watch up here in the upper left. Host game failed, and it leaves you sitting here on a black screen of death. Okay, so that's what's broken. And that post that I linked you guys, that is the exact issue. Okay, that is a bug in the engine. This is not a scripting issue. This is a bug in the engine. And when you get the black screen of death, all you can do at that point is Control-Alt-Delete, go in your task manager, and manually kill it. Okay. So until they get that issue fixed, it is not going to work for Steam. So you can't host a game. Nobody can come find you to play with you. It's literally broke. It's at a dead standstill until they fix that bug. I'm confident that it'll work when they fix that bug. But even having said that, I can't in good conscience tell people, yeah, it works fine. Oh, well, it won't host a game. Well, it's something that you done. No, it's an engine bug. So here's what I'm trying to say. The other part of this. So all the updates that I'm doing to these templates are going to be for Unreal Engine 5 forward. Unreal Engine 4 is not getting any more love. My projects support from Unreal Engine version 4.15.3 all the way up to 4.26, and it works flawlessly. Flawlessly. Okay? The moment that you go to 4.27, the Steam part of it is broken. And it will remain broken until they fix it for 4.27. If they choose not to fix it, the only suggestion that I can give people that own my stuff, you're either going to have to use Unreal Engine 4.15.3, 4.16, 4.17, 4.18, 4.19, 4.20, 4.21, 4.22, 4.23, 4.24, 4.25, 4.26, and stop there. Okay? That's plenty of engine versions for you guys to choose from. It's not my fault it don't work for 4.27. Okay? Okay. So anybody that owns any of my stuff, you're going to have to pick one of the earlier engine versions. Okay? Adrian, I pretty much agree with you. Let me bring Chad over here. Asman, I tried grounding. It didn't help. Well, I'm sorry about that. It should have helped. maybe you're going to have to bury your feet. Like if you got any sandy beaches around where you can actually put your feet in the sand and cover them up with sand. If you can't, maybe you're going to have to use dirt, like dig you a couple holes in the ground, put your feet in them and bury them. No, I don't know if I would go that far or not, but it usually helps me. Okay, so Adrian says now that Epic competes with Steam, they're not going to be bothered to fix Steam functionality. You're probably right. And if they don't fix it, I don't know what to say. This updates that I'm doing may be for naught. Okay. Okay. So there is that. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention to you guys. Oh, I know what else I was going to mention to you guys. Hold on, let me get rid of this here, and we'll talk a little bit about some more stuff. I can delete that now. Actually, you know what? I want to check before we move back on. Let me just check something real quick. I want to see if that same lobby issue exists in a packaged build. Okay. I know that's strange, but you got to check everything. Oh shit. Damn it. Forgot to turn Steam off. Epic, fix your shit. You're making life complicated. And life is complicated enough. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? By the way, if you guys like these streams and you learn anything and you find anything helpful, you like to come hang out, bullshit. The only way that I make videos is if I receive contributions to my YouTube page. The way that you can contribute to this page, underneath the videos, there's a link to my PayPal account. You can buy me a cup of coffee, send me $1, send me $2, send me $100, whatever it is you want to do. But I can't sit here for hours on end just wasting air. I have to receive something of value from making these videos. And that is money, 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 money. Okay. Let me go see if that's broke. The same way. I'm sure it is, but you never know. It. Okay, I look fine on my screen. They look fine on their screen. I look fine on my screen. They look fine on their screen. Okay, let's go to the lobby. How about it? She looks fine on her screen. How about you, woman? By the way, that ragdoll is pathetic, but that's not me. That's a them problem yet again. They're the ones that created the physics asset for these new mannequins, okay? And these new mannequins have to go in Unreal Engine 4 projects. Or I mean Unreal Engine 5 projects. I read some of the regulations that they make content creators abide by. We are supposed to be using this new mannequin skeleton and stuff. You can choose to either use the complex one or the simple one. And you guys have any idea which one I chose? Anybody? Bueller? Bueller. Yes, the simple mannequins. So yeah, these are broken, right? See the textures are not right. It ain't got the correct materials on it. So that's one bug in this update that I'm still going to have to look into. Okay. Okay. So that answers that. Which it's really weird that it's only the chick. So that means let me switch over to the male and see if his is broken. If it ain't, I think I might know what's actually broken. No, his is fine. Let's make sure. God, these things. Yeah. So his looks fine. So it's only the Chicola that's broke. So then that means I think I know what's causing it. It's the new variable called is female. There's a flaw in the slaw somewhere with that. But it's, well, no. Because if it was, when we go back out here to the red team, it would be broken out here too. See there? And it looks fine. So it ain't that. Something else. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm hunting bugs and you don't want me to. I'm not going to do that on live stream. I'll figure it out. I still got quite a bit of more stuff to do anyway. For that. Okay. Now I can delete this. So what I was going to talk to you guys about, the other part of this. So some of you guys remember a couple streams back, someone made a fairly significant contribution to my YouTube page, and they wanted to see me put together a Steam multiplayer menu. And so what I did was, let me extract this. What I did was, I kept that project, right? And we created that in 4.15. And it's a basic menu system. Basically, it's the menu that's in my projects, almost. It's pretty much the same thing, but minus the team and the gender stuff. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let me set this up for 2 players here. That's client 1 and that's server. So you guys remember this, right? So if you hit the single player, it just throws you out here like that. And then you can go back to the main menu and you can host, right? So you guys remember we created this little menu system. I did this on live stream, by the way. So if you guys are curious how this was made, you can actually go back and watch those videos and recreate this, essentially. And then this one over here, you can, you know, hunt up the server and join it and all that stuff. Okay. Yeah. See there? Okay. So this project here, I'm going to do something with this. Okay. And what I'm thinking about doing is, you guys also remember, or may not remember, you may remember, you may not remember, I was working on a TP starter project and an FP starter project. Okay. So let me go ahead and extract this. And let me go ahead and extract this one, the first person one. And we'll go in here and shoot the breeze about this for a minute. Okay, so we looked at that Steam project, and essentially it's just a menu system. That's it. And then I started working on this. I think I've done quite a bit of this on live stream, but I was having some issues. I had to end up rebuilding it 2 or 3 different times in order to figure out what in the cat hair was going on. Okay. So if I go ahead and spawn in here, you guys remember this, right? So this is the little starter dealio that I put together, and you can change your gender. You can crouch, got crouch movement. So basically that's all it is. Oh, and an emote. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking that project that I created, just the basic menu in, and bringing it and putting it in this, and trying to recreate the new menu system that I'm doing in the simple capture the flag, minus all the team stuff. Okay. So since these are going to be my little starter projects that I use to demonstrate things, show things, teach, instruct, consultate, whatever it is that I'm going to end up doing. And I made a long video. You guys already saw me ranting and raving about why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? And it's to get rid of all the complicated, convoluted bullshit that they've put in their third person starter template. So I'm going to incorporate that menu system into this project and also into the first person project. That way my starter projects will have a little menu, and it's going to have a single player, just like in the simple capture the flag. It's going to have the same menu. I'm going to create the same type deal for these starter templates. Okay. Merge them together and get them all hooked up, and, you know, whatever it is that I decide to do from that. And that's what I'm going to save. And that's going to be my starter projects. So if somebody wants to see something for third person, it will be done in this project. If someone wants to see something specific for first person, it will be done in the first person starter project. So that's the plan. And I'm also going to keep the Unreal Engine 4 version, just in case somebody wants to see something in Unreal Engine 4. And what I'll likely do, more than likely, is use these same animations and put it on that character in the Unreal Engine 4. Just the animations, though, not the new mannequins. That one's going to keep the old one. Okay, so that's the plan for that. It's going to get that menu, which is also going to go in this one. So that means I've got to make everything that I've done in this project and in the third person one, I got to make sure it works for multiplayer. Okay. And so this will stay exactly the same. It'll just have that menu in it. Won't have no guns on it or none of that stuff. And this, by the way, just to be clear here, this is not a camera slapped on the head of a character. This is using 3 separate meshes: arms only, lower torso, and a full body mesh. That is what is required in order to make a proper first person game. Okay. All these tutorials and stuff that show you just slap a camera on that, throw that stuff away. Okay. It's garbage. Don't do it that way. This is the professional way. The camera on the head is the amateur way. Do you guys want to be amateurs or do you want to be professionals? Okay. And that's exactly what we did in this project. I think this is in a video somewhere where we put this together. Okay. Okay. So this is going to get that same menu too. Thirsting to death. Oh, and so what are my plans beyond that? So what I'm thinking about doing is for people who make contributions to my YouTube page, people who make contributions to my YouTube page, depending on the amount, I haven't worked it out yet. I'm just thinking out loud here to you guys. I have to, just to be clear, and let me say this, I have to generate revenue in order to do this. I don't do this. I don't do this for likes. I don't do this for follows. I don't do this for shares. I don't give a single damn about any of that. I do this specifically for donations and contributions to my YouTube page via the PayPal link in the descriptions of all these videos and in the upper right-hand banner of my YouTube page. There's a link directly to my PayPal. So what I'm thinking about doing is for people who make contributions to my YouTube page, you will get one of these projects for each contribution that you make over a certain amount. And I haven't decided what that amount is. Okay. It's probably going to be $10, just to be clear. That's what I'm thinking. So for every $10 contribution you make, you get to pick. When I get this finished, it's not done yet. So if you go ahead and contribute now, you're going to be waiting for a while, a hot minute or 10. You'll get to pick. Do you want the Unreal Engine 4 starter template with the menu system in it for multiplayer? Or do you want the Unreal Engine 5 first person template with the menu system in it? Or do you want the Unreal Engine 4 or 5 third person template with the menu system in it? So that's one thing that you'll get when you make a contribution. If you already have all those, or you don't want any of those, and you still want to make a contribution, you can ask for me to cover a specific topic. Okay? And before you ask or contribute, you need to email me and ask me before, because there's some things that I don't want to cover. There's some things that I may not know how to do. There's some things that I just simply may not want to talk about. So you have to pre-ask. And then when I get your email, I will reply and say, yeah, well, if you'll make that contribution, I'll make that video covering that specific topic. Okay. But don't send a contribution with $5 with the question topic being, how do I build my game, bruh? Okay. Because that ain't going to get it done. Okay. If you want to see something like crouch implemented, reloading of ammo, right? Let me bring Chad over here. I see some questions already. Let's see here. So I think I'll just use painkillers. Yeah, those work. Have you checked out the new smart object AI tools? No, I haven't. The new mannequins look ugly. I agree. I think they're ugly too. I've broken everything I've tried in my UE5 project. Well, that happens. Ask me how many times I've rebuilt the goddamn third-person starter template for Unreal Engine 5, my simplified version. I think I rebuilt that so much from the ground up 3 times trying to figure out what was all fucked up with it. But I got it now. Hawkeye asked, could you show how you set up ammo and reloading? Yes, I could, but not for free. Okay, that'll take a contribution. That'd be what I was just mentioning a moment ago. If you would like to see that covered, you make a contribution, and then you will get it covered. It ain't going to be immediately, but I will make it. Okay, I've got other stuff to do, so it'll get made if you make your contribution. When you make your contribution, it gives you the option to type a message. That would be where you would put it. Hey, my name's so-and-so. I would like for you to show how to add weapon, ammo, and reload mechanics. And then you put your contribution in, and when I get it, I will cover it. $2 ain't going to get it. Right now, you guys need to keep in mind, if you just want to send $2, that's cool. If you want to request a video, it may or may not get made. We're talking $10 and up contributions. Okay. Although I appreciate all contributions, you know, if I'm going to do weapon ammo, that's going to take about an hour, right? I make far more than $2 an hour. Okay. You guys see what I'm saying here? $10 for an hour video, still a steal. Okay. Let's see. Can you do a tutorial on crouch and dance emote? I can do a tutorial on that for a contribution. Have you looked at Lyra? Yes, I have looked at Lyra. That's where these animations came from. Okay. And there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to scavenge out of that project. Particle effects, sound effects, weapon models. And I'm going to put them in projects so that I can use them in these little starter projects for demonstrations and stuff. Okay, that's the plan. See, if you guys look at my templates, you're going to notice that the health pickup, the explosive pickups, the bullet pickups, a lot of the sound effects, a lot of the all that stuff come out of the third person shooter example that they put out, right? Well, Lyra is a shooter game example version 2.0. Duh. Okay. So they've upgraded a lot of things in it, being sound effects, particle effects. So now for Unreal Engine 5, that is going to be my source for placeholder use. Like I used to do with the shooter game example, I'm going to do the same exact thing, but using the Lyra stuff. Okay. But I've got to get it all. I've got so much to do, guys. You have no idea. I've got too many irons in the fire, so to speak, right now. You know, I told you guys that I was pretty much done with this, that I wasn't going to do this shit anymore. Well, it looks like that's not true. Okay. Because I'm updating templates that I sell, which I said I wasn't gonna, and it looks like I'm gonna. I've been doing some demonstration videos in Unreal Engine 5, right? Putting this TP starter project together. So it looks like I am going to be doing this again. Keeping in mind, contributions is what makes it happen. Okay. If I don't get contributions, it may just be me showing you guys something that I made, saying, hey, well, look at this. I just made this. But it ain't going to be any kind of talking about how it works, how I made it work, what I did, how come it done this, how come it won't be none of that. It'll just be advertisement videos. Okay. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. That's a wrap, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Come back no more. What'd you say? So I guess I could delete all of that. Trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, I guess I could hang out here for a while, but that's my news. That's all I really wanted to talk about. Anything beyond that's just whatever. I have no idea how long it'll take me to get all this stuff done. I think the first thing that I'm going to do is focus my attention on getting the simple capture the flag update done. When I get that done and submitted and approved, then I'll probably, the next step will be finishing up the Unreal Engine 4 menu system that I showed you guys, getting it all tweaked out and set up the way that I want it to be. Then after that's done, it'll be putting it into the third person project, my custom third person project. Then after that's done, it'll be putting it into the first person starter project. Then after that's done, then I'm going to create a couple projects that have nothing but assets in them from the Lyra game. So it's going to have animations in it. It's going to have weapon models, particle effects, sound effects, that kind of stuff. And then after that, then I'll probably start on the TPS basic update. So I've got plenty of shit to do. Okay. Okay. I guess that's it. Oh, and happy Easter, by the way. I guess it's Easter. I don't celebrate holidays. Let's see. I guess we could go fart around at the forum for a little while. I did have some rabbits in my yard today, like wild rabbits. So I guess they came out for Easter. Or something. I don't know. They were eating grass. Oh, and by the way, I found one of the things that was causing my streams to crap out. So I think I got that sorted out. What were my thoughts on Lyra? Well, I mean, if you're a C++ kind of guy, I'm sure it would be a fantastic project to dig into and learn how they did it and how they set it up and all that stuff. But for a blueprinter, it's virtually useless other than the assets that you can extract from it. Okay. And that's just my personal take on it. Other than that, you know, I'm not going to be using it for any kind of references or anything like that. But if you do C++, yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good project to follow. They said they're going to add more to it as time goes on, et cetera, et cetera. It's complicated. I can tell you that. It's complicated just to get the fucking assets out of it. I couldn't imagine trying to go in there and figure out how they did their weapon logic and stuff. There ain't no way. No way. Okay, let's go into multiplayer and networking here, and we'll poke around in some of these camera jankiness and player pawn relative rotation. Game starts before level is loaded. Does actor reference replication work differently between property and RPCs? How to use copy properties of player state after restart game. Unreliable RPC and packet loss. Android Wi-Fi. Should a client have authority? There might be a couple instances where you would need to have the client to have some authority. But most of the time, no. Destroy in session of each client as the host. So this topic right here, remember me telling in one of these streams, which I you guys probably don't remember all that shit. But what's happening here is it's actually important. You don't just quit the game, right? There is some logic that has to be put in the player controller for what happens when you leave, when you unconnect from a server. Okay. And so the problem that they're experiencing here is a problem that I chased around for a long time. And that is what happens when the host of a listen server quits. What happens to everybody that's connected to that listen server? Well, if you don't script in what you want them to do, all you end up with is a black screen of death that you have to Control-Alt-Delete to get out of. So in the player controller, there is some specific logic that you put in to tell them what to do. And what I chose to do is send them back to the main menu. Okay. That way, if the host quits, instead of getting a black screen of death, it just pops up their main menu, and then they can choose to find another session or start their own or whatever. I didn't read the topic inside, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly what the problem is he's having. You floating pawn movement client control not replicated. I don't know if it is or not. I've never created a floating pawn for multiplayer. I created a hover cycle one time, but it used my own custom movement component that I made, and I never could get it to work flawlessly. It sort of worked, but it used physics, and physics in Unreal Engine 4 was simulated physics. And what happens in multiplayer when you're using simulated physics is it does not show exactly the same on every one connected screen. And I never could figure out how to get around it, so I just gave up. There's some people that probably still have that grab cycle. It was cool, but it never did work exactly the way that it was supposed to. Let's see, Lyra dash cheat. Major advanced network socket issue at the end of my rope. How do I get a possessed pawn to show client actions to all other players? That's a loaded question. It's complicated. Multiplayer tutorials. Hey, I know somebody that used to make multiplayer tutorials once upon a time in a galaxy far away. More than one player in multiplayer controlling a pawn. I don't know about that. I'm sure it could be done, but I've never tried it. Let's see. How can I configure custom server name with blueprints? I don't think, unless this is something they added in Unreal Engine 5, I don't think that you can name your server without using the advanced sessions plugin. I think you can with that plugin, but if you're just using the built-in Steam session stuff, I don't think it allows you to name your server. It puts the server name as the name, your Steam name of the person who hosts the session. I think that's how that works. Lobby system character selection. Cannot host Steam session in 4.26, 4.27, or 5. I know it's broken 2.7 and 5, but I didn't know it was broken 4.26. I thought it worked. Maybe it's broken 4.26 too. I don't know. Potentially. There's some online games. Yeah, there's a few. Add, modify, extra settings, advanced session plugin, post logon event in single player game always has none pawn. Let's see. Is it possible to spawn in an actor that only exists on the client side? I think we've read that before. I think we're getting to the part of this where we've already read this, unless somebody bumped that. Testing IP open. Replication graph. Push network model. Yep, we've read all those. So let's bounce into a different topic. Maybe just blueprint. Oh God, project package warning. Oh yeah, them are fun. What am I getting this bug? How to get a reference to an unspawned character? I think you can get the class. How to reference an unspawned character? I can't get float from another blueprint. Yeah, you can. You got to cast to it. Got to figure out how to get from point A to point B. It's like following a GPS, but you don't have a GPS. You actually have to use an atlas instead of just typing it into Google Maps or whatever. A little bit about the shortcomings of blueprints. How do I tell my level blueprint which item has spawned? Steam achievements implementation for Unreal Engine 4 developers, tips and tricks. How do you give back keyboard input priority to player controller after closing widget? Well, that should have been easy to answer. Why didn't somebody answer it? You get the owning player and you set input mode, and then you hide the mouse cursor. Let's see. Cannot get velocity of AI. Trying to make a Mario Party dice roll. Any way to make world space aware UV coordinates placement. UE5 layer. How do I get the material to change color depending on control point capture progress? That sounds complicated. Can't package my project. You got to have Visual Studio installed, the correct version for the engine that you're using. That's probably, I think, what that error is. Get a widget's location in screen space. Multiple instances of an actor with scene capture. Component 2D. Why can't I call the protected method in a child class? Let's see. Is there a way to automatically add blueprint nodes based on criteria, history, or user settings? Can you query all current sublevels? Switching and possessing characters. That's easy to do. Slider with 2 handles, switching between multiple pawns. Removed from parent, used to work but now isn't. How to bind event to event dispatcher without cast. Print string doesn't work. You've got some serious problems if you can't get a print string to work. I'm just saying. Somebody's lost their timeline. Is there a good way to find a timeline in Blueprint UE5? Can't delete a few that I can't find references to. Warning message when I open any vehicle blueprint created on UE4 when trying to open it on UE5. That's because they switched to chaos, I believe. I think they did away with the old way. Handling save game, endless runner, spline pass. Why can't I get a reference to my actor? How to run a dilation in multiplayer. Oh God, I bet that is complicated. How to set image UMG widget with rich. Oh God, I don't want to talk about menus and UI and widgets and handle character with multiple behavior state best practice. All actors disappear when rotate camera. Animating custom pawn parameters. Selecting all of a certain type of item pickup to make something happen. How to use apply mesh. How to remove widget from viewport. Remove from parent. Add random Z vector values to procedural mesh grid. Packaging error on Windows 10. Set actor location or set world location or world rotation. Oh, that one's resolved. Problem with replication using first person blueprint. I wonder. I've been trying to get the first person template to replicate the gun firing within multiplayer. For some reason, the clients are showing as having authority as well as the server. That just looks wrong to me. He didn't say whether it was 4 or 5 that he's using. That's another reason that you don't use their trash. See, he's checking has authority here, doing all this stuff. You don't have to do that. Like I could probably make that. I'm assuming he's using 5. Says this is being done within the rifle blueprint, right? So previously they had done all that stuff in the character blueprint. In Unreal Engine 5, they put the weapon as an actual pickup laying on the ground. So they changed it some. I mean, I could go in there and try to make it happen. You guys want to see me go in there and try to take Unreal Engine 5 and make that pop gun replicate where it works for multiplayer? You guys want to see me do that? If I can, right? I might not be able to. Let me go take a whiz and I'll be right back and we'll jump in there and see if I can get it done. I'll be right back. Wow, nobody said yay or nay. Does that mean I don't have to do it? I done stuck my foot in my mouth now. I guess I have to. Oh God, Unreal Engine 5. I'm sure this is going to be a disaster. Yeah, this is going to be a disaster. I'm morally obligated to do it now. You are correct. So we're going to create a default first person UE5 epic, awesome, stupendous template, and we'll see if we can make this pop gun replicate. So what do we got here? Hey, look at that. How about that? So first things first is we got to get 2 windows going here. Okay, so we're going to go in here, advanced settings. We're going to go 720 by 512. I'll disconnect that in a minute. Sorry about that. Hold your ears. They picked the worst sound on the entire goddamn planet to use for that. Listen server. And we need 2 people. See, and that's another thing they did that irritates me. You can't just type in 2 now. You have to scroll it. New editor windows. Always put the server on the left side. I wonder if they're going to redo this template, right? Like, kind of like what they did with the third person one, because this is essentially the exact same damn template as the old one. They just changed the gun to where you have to pick it up. I bet they won't. Okay, so let's see. Now that we got 2 windows, we need 2 guns, right? So let me drag another copy of this gun out. Have we got 2 player starts? No, we do not. So let's go ahead and put a copy of a player start out here and play again. So first things first is we got to make sure both players see it. I see it on the left and he sees it. So I see both of them. Look at that. And so when I watch the server pick that up, let's see what happens. Look at that. Now the aim offset or none of that stuff's going to replicate, and we're not fooling with that. The goal is just to make this pop gun replicate. So I see it. I wonder though, what happens if, let me just make sure that he can't pick up an invisible gun, and he can't. And then if I do this, do you see it? Oh, look at that. It's already replicating. What's the problem? Yeah, I'm sure there's a problem. First, let me go in here and turn this damn annoying sound off, right? So that is what we will do first. Well, where the hell did they put that? 3 goddamn folders in here and I can't even find it. There it is. So step 1 is we're going to turn that shitty sound off. The hell are they playing it at? Montage, play sound. Okay, so we're going to unhook this. And we're going to hop back over to this. Okay, so that should kill the sound effect. Now let's see what happens, right? Like, let's see if anything happens. We can pick the gun up for sure. Now what happens when he shoots? Do you see my balls of death? Oh, of course not. Of course they wouldn't make a multiplayer template. Obviously not. And then if we take the server, do you see my balls of death? Hell to the no. Yeah, this thing don't replicate for shit. Okay. Step 894,352 is we need to open the weapon blueprint. And the first thing we need to do is make sure that this weapon blueprint is set to be replicated. Right? There's a magical checkbox in here somewhere that is specifically for actor replication. Right here. See it? Under the replication section, right here. That is step 1. Step 2 is that since the projectile is also an actor, see right here where they're spawning actor from class, since that is also an actor, we need to also do the same thing to the projectile, right? So we need to come over here to the replicate section, and we need to check replicates and probably replicates movement, but we're going to leave that unchecked for now. Okay. Only check that one just for now. So let's see if just those 2 things is enough to get it done. I say no, but you never know, right? You never know. How about it? You see my balls of death? Nope. Obviously not. How about if the server does it? Oh, look at that. Look at that shit. Now, why is that working? Anybody know? Anybody know? Bueller. Well, it's because the left screen's the server and he gets to do everything. Okay, that's why. But yeah, that right there has already got it done for that side. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is go into the gun. And the first thing I want to know is how they're attaching it, right? Like, what are they doing when they attach it? So on component begin overlap, they're casting to the character and they're setting a reference to the character. They're attaching the actor to component. Bind to the on use item event something or another. God damn, they've already got this more complicated than it needs to be. Already. Okay, so this right here needs to have a switch has authority. Okay. This character reference here, I'd bet you, needs to be replicated, but just for now, we're not going to set it to replicated. Okay, and this is attaching it to the grip point, which is fine. And then it's calling the bind on item use something another, whatever the fucking hell that is. I guess that's this event right here. Okay. And so the server is the one that's going to have to spawn this. Okay. And so if we change this here to be ran on the server, that means all they're doing is calling this event right here, I guess. I don't know. They set up some really strange shit, obviously. Okay, so we filtered out the erroneous client call coming out of here, which is fine. And we changed this event here to be ran on the server, which is the logic that is being used to spawn this ball of death. And let's go ahead and unhook this montage play because that ain't going to work. I wouldn't imagine, but let's just go see now if this is going to do anything, right? So the server was already able to spawn the balls of death. Now let's see if the client can spawn balls of death. And now it's completely broken, right? He don't even see himself spawning any balls of death. So that's foobarred. Okay. So let's go into the character blueprint for a minute here. And let's see. Input action, primary action, call use item. So they've set up this weird delegate shit here, right? Which is probably what's triggering that. I mean, input action, it's listening for the call. And then that takes us into the weapon blueprint, which is probably this bullshit right here that they're doing. So I think we're going to have to reconfigure this a little bit. So let's unhook this here. And let's right click and say, what is this custom event called here? On fire projectile. So let's try on fire projectile. We'll call it right here. Okay. Now, actually, you know what? We probably should replicate that and try it first. Remember I said that might just need to be replicated. So let's do this. Put it back the way that it was. And let's set this variable here to be replicated. All right, let's try that one more time just to make sure that that wasn't what it was. Okay, and then we take this guy. How about now? Nope. So that wasn't what it was. Of course it ain't. So let's set that back to not be replicated. See, you don't replicate things if you are not 100% sure they need to be. Okay. All these other tutorials, these guys will tell, well, I don't know if it needs to be, but we're going to set it to be anyway. So let's unhook this. Pilot and save it. Now we need to find a way to get from the character into here. Since we did away with this bullshit they're doing here, we need to go back into the character, and now we're not using that anymore. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out a way to get a reference to that actor that gets attached. Okay, so how are they attaching this thing again? First person mesh, and that's a self. So after it attaches, I mean, we could probably jerry rig this. And that's probably what we're going to have to do. I could tear this apart and redo it a different way and have this working in like 3 minutes, just so you guys know. But I'm trying to take what they have already done and make it work. Okay, just to be clear here. This is why you don't use their stuff, by the way. Okay. Okay. So in the character, on event begin play, we're going to say, right click here and say, get attached actors. Is there a note in here for that? Get attached actors. Okay. And then out of the attached actors, we're going to get a copy of whatever is in index 0, right? on event begin play ain't going to work, right? Because we're already spawned. So that ain't going to do it. Okay. All right. So what triggers that? That triggers, let's see here. I mean, we can manually set this up. Like after we run over that weapon, we need a way to get a reference to that weapon. Maybe we could create a child component, right? Like, let's try that. Okay. So after we attach it, and if we was to take the character reference, can we do this? Child is child actor. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. Add component, add child actor component. I think we can do this, right? Okay. Okay, so if we do that, after we do this, that should create a component. Okay. And then if we come out of this and say set child actor class, and the class will be, what the hell is this blueprint called? It's called rifle. VP rifle. Okay. Okay. So that should theoretically create a child actor class and create it on the character. Okay. Which then means we should be able to get attached actors. No. All right, so that should create it on here. God, this is this is far more complicated than it should be. Is there a get child actor? What is that thing called again? Child actor class. Actor. Get all child actors. Right? So that should work. And then we get the one in index 0. And then we type child here. Child actor. Returns whether this actor was spawned by a child actor component. No. No, we don't need that. Let me set up a button press here. I just want to see if this part right here is actually doing anything. So we're going to do a print string here. And we'll get the display name. And we're going to use the keyboard E. Good God, I'll never find that shit that way. Maybe we could just type, fuck it, we're just going to do the right mouse button. Okay, let's see if that actually does anything. Oh God, infinite loop. It's been a long time since I've seen one of them. So that right there is apparently not what we're trying to do. Add child component. Maybe we need to, let's see here. This is such a fucking disaster. This should be done completely different. Okay, so after we do that, now we need to, so that adds the component. Get child let's see, actor component. Add child actor component. You know what? I got a better idea. It just dawned on me. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're not doing this shit. We're not doing this shit. Compile and save that. We're gonna go in here. We're not even gonna do this shit. Okay? All right. So we're gonna add a child actor here. And we'll call this weapon. Like that. Now what we can do is in the rifle, when we overlap this thing, since we already have a reference to that character here, we can then get that weapon. Get weapon. No, set weapon. And what we're going to set the weapon to is self. Oh, we're all over this summit now, right? Why are you not going to let me plug that in? Oh God. Is this really going to do this? Is this really going to do this? So we created that. Maybe we need to go ahead and oh, okay. I'm reading the chat over there. I think I know what you're meaning here. Let me go back in here. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, that's weapon. Hold on. I will make this work. one way or the other. I don't care if I have to sit here till Jesus comes back. I will make this work using their shoddy stuff, which I could have rebuilt this in 3 minutes and had it done already. But we're working with what they got, right? That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to take their shoddy ass stuff and make it work. Okay. Set weapon. How about now? Nope. It still won't do it. Well, if we just plug the weapon in there, that defeats the whole point of the pickup, right? See, I mean, we could just plug that weapon blueprint in here and be done with it. But I want to try to make it pick it up. And you should see, like, look, I can go in here and just plug that damn BP rifle in here. Okay. But that's not what I'm aiming to do. I'm trying to make it, when we overlap it, see, this is blank, right? So I want to set this to that weapon blueprint when we overlap it. Wait, maybe it's, I had this problem before. Let me try something here. So we get the weapon, and then maybe we do the child. Get child actor. I want to set child actor. Set child actor class. Okay. I think this might be it. And then we set it to this weapon. Rifle. Okay. Now let's see. Let me do the right mouse button down again. And we're going to get this. After it gets set, I want to print string here. And I just want to see what it says is in there. If it's the damn weapon, we're getting somewhere. It may or may not be. Okay, we'll see. So now, infinite loop again. Mother. What is causing the infinite loop? I don't get it. I don't get it, Big Dan. Fine. I bet that still ain't gonna work. Nope. Well, what the fuck is going on here? Right, so nope. That ain't gonna work either. I mean, that right there looks to me like that should be it, right? So we got a reference to this, which is what we just set there, and it's blank, right? There's nothing in it. And what we're trying to do here is get that reference, which is this, and set it to this weapon, right? I mean, that's how that should go. and I plug the weapon in here and it gives us a damn infinite loop. Is that actually what's causing the infinite loop? Hold on a minute. I guess we better find that out first. Yeah, I mean, that right there works marvelously. And all they're doing is attaching that actor to that character. Well, okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll try it the way that I was trying it before. Oh. I mean, that right there, that should be it. A component that spawns an actor when registered and destroys it when unregistered. The child actor component is not the way, apparently. Let me light me a smoke here and think for a minute. Let me get my... See, if you leave that empty, that weapon's already spawned, laying there on the map. All we need to do is set it to be what's populated inside this reference. And then we get the reference to the weapon. When we overlap it, we get a reference to this. I'm going to go back in there one more time. I ain't giving up yet. See, right now, when we... I mean, that should, if I hit the right mouse button, it should just say none. And that's just the name of it, right? There's nothing populated in it. So we get a reference to the weapon. Set the value of variable weapon. And that is a child actor type, is what that is. And you can't change it. Inherited from parent. You can't change it. So that's why we did the first get the weapon. And then from that, you get the child. Maybe get the child component. Gets the attached child component at the specified location. Maybe you got to go that deep. Set child component. Maybe that's what it is. No, that's child actor class. And see, it wants that. Well, maybe we can get class of okay. Get actor class. Okay, fucker. Yeah, I mean, you should just be able to plug this weapon in there. See, we already tried that and it blew up, right? So that ain't what we're trying to do. Well, I tried again, but that ain't gonna do it. It's gonna blow up again. Yep, that ain't gonna do it. Did they do this way? I'm fixing to strip it apart. I'm fixing to give up. So that would get the class of that, which there's nothing in it, right? I mean, that's the whole point. We're trying to put this in it. You can't send the fire over till you get a reference of it, right? Because the fire event resides in this blueprint. So in order to trigger it, you have to get a reference to it. Now, once again, I could plug this right into that child actor component, but that defeats the purpose of the pickup here. Okay, fine. All right, we're going to scrap that idea. And instead, we're going to go back into the character blueprint. And we'll go back the route that I was trying to go in the first place, which would be get attached actors. And we get the one in index 0. And let's print this out after we attach the goddamn thing to the character, right? So if we can't get a reference to it, we're done, right? It ain't going to work at all. So now when I pick this up and I hit the right mouse button, you can see it says rifle, right? So that part works. So now we have a reference to it. And now, once again, I'm just jerry rigging this together here. Okay. So what we need to do now is this, right? So we can get rid of all this and the right mouse button down. If we try to fire, let's bring this over here to where we're firing this damn gun at. I'm just going to pull this input action down here like this. And what we'll do is we will check if this is valid. So when we press this button, first check to see if it's valid, okay? And then we should be able to, are we going to have to cast to it first? Let's just try to call, what did I call that event? Server fire? What did I call that son of a bitch? I didn't call it anything. They did it. Right? It's this custom event right here. So it would be on fire projectile. on fire. Nope, we're going to have to cast to it first. And that's the rifle. Cast to BP rifle. Oh, we've got this thing by the tail now. And then we call on fire projectile. Okay. And then that takes us back into the rifle and puts us right here. Which then means this event is set to run on the server. So that means that this should be spawning on the server, which means theoretically, potentially this might work, right? So if we try to fire, it ain't going to do nothing because we have no attached actors. Now, when I attach the actor and I shoot, you can see the balls of death. Now, how about you, Mr. Client? You're the one that never gets to do any goddamn thing. How about now? Okay. It ain't doing anything. So we're going to put a print string right here. Best debug tool in this whole damn engine is a print string. I want to know if this is actually even firing on a client. And if it ain't, it could be because of that variable, right? So when I pick this thing up, it should say server hello. So definitely working here. And then if the client grabs one of them, it ain't doing a damn thing. Okay. Okay. So back in the character, well, actually it could be because this variable right here is not replicated. So let's try that. We know the server works, so I'm just going to bump over here. Still not doing anything. So I'm going to unreplicate that because that wasn't the issue. So why are we not? This is a client. We're getting these attached actors. That actor is set to be replicated. And we're getting to here. But why is this not firing on a client? So the actor itself is set replicated. I mean, it could be this right here. We've got to get this to print string on the client. So just for now, this is not right, but just for now, I'm going to hop over this switch as authority just to see if that does anything. I could have rebuilt this 20 damn times by now and had this shit working in no time, right? So it's still not doing it. So that didn't have shit to do with it. And it is getting attached, obviously. I don't understand why. I mean, maybe it's this, right? Maybe what we need to do here, is actually put this in a variable stored here. Just delete this. Okay. So let's promote this to a variable. I hate their stuff so much. And we'll set that variable to be replicated. Then we'll cast to it. I mean, is this right here doing anything first? I mean, let's check this too. Let's just put this at the end here. Nothing. I got nothing. So that didn't have shit to do with it. But it could also still be this. I will make this work if it takes 3 days. Did this shit in 3 minutes if I hadn't have done other stuff. So none of that right there had anything to do with it. Oh, wait a minute. It's because of this too. I didn't have that hooked up. So not valid was firing, which means it ain't going to do shit in the first place. How about now? Oh, look at that shit. We're getting client hello. So we're making it to one of these. I would imagine it's this one. Have we still got that in here? Yep. Might be getting closer. Nope. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I bet you I know what it is. It's because it's not getting an owner and an instigator, right? I bet you that is probably what it is. So let's let's kind of start over here, right? I forgot about that. That is actually extremely important. So this actor is just sitting out into the world. It has no owner and it has no instigator. The game spawned it. So what needs to happen here is after we attach it to the character, right? So that's where they're doing this bullshit right here. We need to set, let me delete this on fired projectile. Actually, let me go all the way back into the character so we can follow this chain through here. So that didn't have shit to do with it. Let's go ahead and put this back that way. Okay, and that's fine. Okay. That didn't have shit to do with it. None of that has shit to do with it. The problem is, after we attach this, we need to set the owner and the instigator. Okay. So with this reference to self here, we could say set owner and set instigator. And those are going to be set to this character reference. I bet that we're getting closer here. Okay, so after we attach it, do that. Now this variable still might yet need to be replicated. Okay, so that does that, that does that. Have we still got the hello in here? Yes, we do. All right, so let's try that. If that don't work, then we'll replicate this variable here and see if that does it. Oh, fuck me right square in the dick. We just did it. John Gall, you glorious bastard, you. Yeah, so look, it always goes to the center though. So we're still not quite there just fucking yet, but we're closer. We've got balls of death. How about the server? Do you get to do anything still? Of course he does, right? And he can fling them up into the damn air and stuff. Son of a bitch. Okay. So now that we've got that working, now we need to go in here and figure out why on the client it's not getting the trajectory. Okay. And so we got this whole projectile offset bullshit here. I have no fucking idea what they did here. I mean, this is literally like chasing around a bag of rabbit weasels in here. So, I mean, it could be still this, right? Like, where they get socket locations for the skeletal mesh. That's right. Get player camera manager for player in index 0. Right. Well, in multiplayer, index 0 is the server. So if we were to take that character reference that they've got in here, and it's not going to let us use that. So what we need to do is get a reference to the camera. Okay. So that would be first person camera. I will fix this, right? So first person camera. Get first person camera. And then we get camera rotation. Nope. It's got to be specific, right? This is just getting the server's stuff, I believe. Maybe we could just type rotation. I guess maybe what we need to do is just get world rotation. And then we replace that with that and that with that. See, that's generic, right? That's getting the server stuff. So that ain't going to work. Okay. And it may still yet, that variable still need replicated, right? So see, well, I mean, why is he not getting to throw it up in the air? Okay, let's try replicating that variable. That variable. Generic way of getting the camera rotation's ass. Nope, it's still doing it. Oh, this makes me so mad. Puke. Well, that didn't have shit to do with it. It's not. And that's the skeletal mesh of the weapon, so that really wouldn't have nothing to do with it. Make transform. That's fine. It's this. That is what's breaking it. I believe. See, the server's camera is pivoting up. Well, we got close. Did I get an A for effort? It's this shit right here that's causing this to be buggered up on the client. That's exactly what it is. Get a Monster Energy for my effort. I don't know why I bothered to do this. I would have deleted this shit and done it completely differently. This is garbage, by the way. And when you work with hey, look, I'm gonna get redneck on you guys. It doesn't matter how much perfume you put on a turd, it's still a turd. Okay? Just so we're clear. Another way of saying that's putting lipstick on a pig. Well, we got it to work, but the rotation's derped. Let me go back and look at the server again. I mean, he was flinging his balls of death up in the air. So it's the pivot, right? So the client, he could do this, right? And he was shooting them all over the place. His problem was when he was trying to pivot up, it's not pivoting him up, right? So let me go back over here to the client just to show you guys what I'm talking about. No, it is pivoting him up, right? But see, his balls of death are still going straight forward. But yet, whenever we are doing this, we can shoot that way. It's when we try to go up. So the issue is it's not getting the up direction somehow. And so they're getting the socket location, socket name ammo, but for some reason it's not getting the no, I don't see no arrow thing connected. Rotate vector, projectile offset. And that's just some stupid value that they've plugged in here. Maybe there's a way, instead of getting the camera, see, they're using the camera manager. So can we get the camera manager? Maybe let's just type manager. Nope. How the hell? Well, okay, look, we can conduct a test before I go down that rabbit hole. Right, let's see if this is actually what it is. So if we change this to player index 1, that should theoretically be the client. So let's see if that fixed it. And if it did, then it's the derpy ass way that they, yeah, see, it fixed it. But now the server will be broken, right? Because it's getting an index 0. See there? So that's the fucking problem right there. We need to figure out a way to get this character's specific camera manager. Maybe we could get it from, maybe you got to get the camera, and then from the camera you get the manager. Nope. So how the fuck are we supposed to do this? See, that's why, you know, I used to watch tutorials a million years ago, right? And when they were doing multiplayer stuff, they were all the time doing this get player, and all that stuff. And it always said player index 0. Well, the problem with that is in some blueprints, you can do that and it will assume that you mean the blueprint that you're using. Well, in some blueprints, if it says player index 0, that automatically assumes it's the server. The server is always player 0. So what's really strange in this engine is this. In some blueprints, you can use that. And then in some, when you do that, it assumes it's a server. Like this is a perfect example. In this blueprint, player index matters. It can't be player index 0 because that's always going to be the server. So we got to figure out how we get the camera manager. I bet you that comes from the player controller. See, Misguided Games, not to try to correct you here, but you're wrong. It depends on the blueprint that you're in, right? Because obviously in this blueprint, index 0 is the server. And the moment I changed it to player index 1, that would be the first client. So if I hook 3 players up to this, that means the first player, server, and the third player will be broken, but yet the second one will work. And if I change that to 3, the server and the first client will be broken, and the third player will work, right? But if you're in like a player controller, it will assume you mean the one that's controlling that player controller. So the way Epic did this, it's confusing. It depends on the blueprint that you're in. And in this case, this ain't going to work, right? So I think that the player camera manager is tied to the player controller. Okay. So I've got to figure out how to get a reference to this for this specific player. So let's try this. Okay. Let's just type player camera manager. And see, that's wanting the player index, and that's exactly what they are using. And once again, that function is not going to work because it's going to assume it's the server. But if we get the player controller, get local viewing player controller, returns local player controller viewing this pawn, whether it's controlling or spectating, target is pawn. And then from that, can we get the manager? Uh-oh, look at that shit. Well, we're not using a custom player controller in here, so I think we can do this without casting. Okay, let's try this. So get player camera manager, and we will replace that with that. Is that enough to get it done? Be enough to get it done, because I'm ready for this live stream to be over. Let's go. Come on, Epic. There's more than one way to skin a cat. How about it? Nope. Still shooting forward. Access none. Oh, wow. Yeah, we really broke the shit out of it then. Maybe we do have to cast. Cast? Or we might have to put a player controller in. Player controller. Then again, it could be because that variable is not replicated. That still could be the problem. No, you don't. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's replicate that variable. Hold on a minute here. Let me just set that variable replicated, see what that does. Oop. It's accessing none. That means it's not getting it. Well, can we just get player controller? And then can we just do that? Nope, that's still going to get the damn one in index 0. That ain't going to work, right? So now let's try to cast. Let's just say player controller. Did they change the name of it? Is it fucking this right here? This AR shared player controller tries to access object as a class. It may be a instance of. So I'm just going to make a, if this don't work, I'm just going to make a player controller and put it in here. And let's see if we convert to pure cast and then do that. Yeah, that could work. Let me just try this real quick, see what this does. They may have changed the name of it, right? It used to just be a default player controller. Nope, that's still going to throw that error. Okay. Okay, so no, that don't work. I'm pretty sure this doesn't have to be replicated, so let's just set that back to not be. And then we will player state. AI controller. Get AI controller, get instigator controller. That might work, right? Because we did set the owner and the instigator. No. Oh, well, get controller. How about now? Cast to player controller. Convert to pure. Work, you son of a bitch. I could have built a whole entire game for as long as I've been sitting here dicking with this stuff. Oh, look at that. Now let's make sure the server still works. Sure, don't break that shit. Nope, look at that. Doggone, you glorious bastard. I fucking hate this template so much. Like, so much. Look at that. We did it, boys. All of us combined. We all came together and we all combined our brains into one big, huge consciousness. And we have achieved the impossible. We took some shoddy ass epic shit and jerry rigged it together so that it does work for multiplayer. We are spawning balls of death. All that, fucking hours and hours. We got it. That guy on the forum that asked this question, he owes me like $300. That is so funny. We did it, boys. Try to follow this tutorial. Yeah, I would have never done it this way in the first goddamn place. Absolutely not. But we did get it done. And look, that variable still doesn't have to be replicated, right? It still works just fine. So at the end of the day, this was a huge problem. Multiplayer, it is very, very important that the owners and the instigators be set up properly. I stress that in some of my videos. Now you guys know why. Objects must have owner and instigator, because when you try to do something like this, execute on the server, if it has no idea who the owner and the instigator is of that object that event's in, it screws everything up. From the get-go, it screws everything up. So when you're trying to debug and figure out, well, why is this not working? Does this need to be run on server? Does this variable need to be replicated? It could literally be the owner and the instigator, and regardless of how many different ways you try, it will never work because that is wrong from the beginning. So we did it. Now I need to make a video and show how to tear all this bullshit out and do it in 3 minutes and forgo all this nonsense. I just, honestly, the reason that I did this is because I wanted to see if I could actually make it work. Like, take something they made and make it work. Force it into submission. It helps me in my own projects when I'm doing my own stuff. It helps me debug, right? Like when I try to make something for myself or for somebody else and it doesn't work, by doing this kind of testing here, what did we learn in this? Well, first of all, we learned Epic's a bunch of fucktards for the way they do shit. That's one thing that we learned. Another thing that we learned is owner and instigator, extremely important in multiplayer, extremely important. And just because you attach an actor to another actor, that still doesn't mean that the owner and the instigator is correct, right? So we learned that, definitely. We also learned that the player index matters, right? In some blueprints, it matters. In some blueprints, it assumes you mean the controlled pawn, right? Like the person controlling that pawn. But you have to figure out where that matters and where it don't matter, right? Like, here's an example. Here's a good example. If we were to open this player blueprint right here and we were to do something like get player controller. Now look, this one has got the same index as 0. This one assumes you mean the player controller of this blueprint. So it doesn't matter here. But if you do that same kind of thing in one of these blueprints, like this one, it might not even let you, but let's just see, get player controller, right? If you do that here, it's going to automatically assume you mean the server, right? Same exact function, works differently depending on which blueprint you're in, right? It's weird. I still don't quite understand where it works right and where it don't, but I do know that it does matter. And so what I generally do as a rule of thumb when I'm doing multiplayer stuff, I automatically assume that I need to be extremely specific about things like this. Okay. So in here, there ain't really no way. Well, I take that back, right? So in the character blueprint, let me talk about this for a minute as a demonstration. So this one would work. It'll automatically assume that it's the unique specific player controller for this blueprint. So server, it's going to assume it means the server blueprint. Client 1, it's going to assume you mean client 1 player controller, etc., etc. However, in this one, it don't work that way. You got to be specific, just like this. So there is a reference already set right here when you overlap, and they're casting to this blueprint, this specific blueprint, and they're storing it here. So in this instance here, you have to be specific and say, okay, the character blueprint that this weapon is attached to, get that controller, right? But in this character blueprint, another way that you could be specific and not rely on whether, well, I mean, does this work in this blueprint and it don't work in that one? Another way that you could do it would be this way. So what is this blueprint? This blueprint is a character blueprint, and it's specifically the first person character blueprint. So another way I use a lot is get a reference to self. Okay. So if you do that, and then from the reference to self, say get player controller. Oh, wow. I'm all typos here. Get player controller. Well, it ain't going to do it. Let's just type player controller. Well, right here, you could get a reference to self, and then you could cast to player controller, and that would give you the same thing as that. Okay? But in this rifle, you can't do that. That ain't gonna work. You got to be specific. It's crazy. Well, that took way longer than it should have. Way longer than it should have. You know, another way that we could have did this, I mean, I'm just sitting here, I've got my mind's running about a mile a minute thinking about how many different ways you could do this. First of all, I would have never done it this way. I wouldn't have, ever. But another idea that I just had, like just now. So you guys remember when we added a child actor component over here? Why didn't we just do this? Right? So why didn't we just create a variable, which we have one here called new, and just call this weapon like this, and set this to be of the type that rifle, object reference. And then when we overlapped up here, we could have just set that to be a reference to self, right? So what did I call that? Rifle? Weapon, right? So right here, we would do weapon, set weapon, and then we could have set it to self. And that would have worked just the same, right? Matter of fact, we can check it. Okay. So we're still going to have to set the owner and the instigator. Let me unhook this. Let's try it this way too, right? I mean, since I've done wasted all this amount of time, right? So this will be self, and this will be self. And new owner will be this character. Wow, I've got too much shit hooked up here. Let me start over right here. Okay. So target is actor. That would be that. Target is this actor, self, this blueprint. The new owner will be this character reference here. And then what we can do, instead of doing this get attached actor stuff here, we can just do this, right? We can get the weapon. Check its validity, just like we did before. And then cast to the BP rifle. And that should work just the same. We will check that, but I'm pretty sure we don't even have to cast here now. Okay. So we can literally just call this now. First, let me see if it'll do it even if it's not valid, right? Because if it'll do it when it's not valid, that's not going to work, right? So let's do a print string here. So that shouldn't do anything at this point. And it don't. But the moment I pick up the gun, now you can see it works and it still replicates just the same. And now we don't have to rely on just getting the stupid attached actors, because you could have a ton of them, right? See? So that's another way that we could have did it. There's always, when I tell you guys in these videos, there's a million ways to do everything. There literally is a million ways to do everything. Some work better than others, but in the end, all that really matters is that it works, right? That's really all that matters. So that would have worked just the same. I don't know why I didn't think of that the first time around. Instead of trying to add a child actor component, I should have just did that. But the problem with this is, it's only work specifically for that weapon, right? Like if you wanted to build a slot where you could just plug in generic actors, it would have to be done a little bit differently, because see, we specified that is of that type. If you just put a generic actor in, let's see if we can make that work, right? Change variable type. Yep. And it's going to break it. So now, you probably will have to cast. Yep. So now if you cast, it will only check to see if it's a weapon, right? So that would be rifle. And if it's anything but a rifle, this will still not work, right? Because it'll fail. It'll fail this check. So I suppose you could say, okay, well, if it's a rifle, do this. And if it ain't a rifle, check to see if it's a grenade. And if it ain't a grenade, check to see if it's a sticky bomb or a fire bomb or whatever. Okay, well. I will shoot the pickup. We didn't get the sounds and stuff working, but I don't care. It sounds annoying as shit anyway. Hey, here's a good one for you. I don't think these boxes are replicating. Where'd that guy go? Where is he? Oh shit, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, he's standing over there. These are not. No, they are. Well, the client sees them moving around. Let's see if the server sees them too. Yep. All right. Well, them are replicating. However, they set these little boxes up that move when you shoot them. Okay. Okay, guys, look here. Remember when I was talking about simulated physics that this engine uses? Check this out. It looks one way on the client screen and it looks completely different on the server screen. Watch. See that? That's what I meant when I said replicating simulated physics. How do you do that? You don't. You have to do it differently. See, I'm shooting a box over here on the right and the server don't even see the box. It's done flew off and went somewhere else. Why is that? Well, I don't know. Maybe let's see if we can figure out a way real quick to make that actually work. So these stupid boxes, let's see if we can find these. Browse to the asset. So they probably just set up a certain material on this. Like, this is not an actor. This is literally just a static mesh, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it is. It's literally just a static mesh. So chamfer cube. I mean, if you were to switch it over to, I mean, I don't want to sit here for 3 hours trying to do this, but I bet you we could get them to look the same on each screen with enough effort and energy put into it. But a lot of people don't understand that a lot of game stuff is actually just trickery, right? Like, it's not real. It's not like when you see people building weapons and all that stuff and attaching them to the character and all that. A lot of times, like a grenade throw, as an example, like that flying chick we set up, the ball she's holding in her hand is just a dummy prop. It's not real. It doesn't do anything except become visible and invisible. The one she's actually throwing is a projectile that's spawned, right? So a lot of game development is just ways to figure out how to make it realistically fake, is what you're trying to do. You're not literally trying to do the mechanic. You're just trying to figure out a way to fake it till you make it. It must be the material that's assigned to this. They've got this thing set up somehow. MI solid blue. Well, I mean, let's go look at the projectile for a minute. What did they do to make that do? Oh, there it is simulating physics, right? So all they did was set that to the collision settings on that to simulate physics. That's what they did. So that means that in the collision of this object, where's the collision at? Right here. Customize collision complex. Did they set it in the level? Right, because I'm not seeing set simulate physics here. Unless it's under advanced. Nope. Let me see if I select that in the level and go under details. There it is, right? It's in the level. See it right here? Simulate physics, replicate physics to autonomous proxy. But yet the main one, I don't think they have that set in the main one. I didn't even see the setting, really. Where the hell did it go? Support physical materials. I guess you have to set it in the level to do it. Like, you can't set that to do it by default, it doesn't look like. Well, actually, maybe right here, right? So if you go to custom, yeah, okay, so you can do it. Like only the ones in the level. Let me just show you what I mean here. I don't know. They had that set to block all, right? So I bet you if we were to just drag one of these in, it won't do that shit. Like it won't react, in other words. Yeah, see? So the ones they got drug out here in the level, they specifically set to do that. So if you want them all to do that, you have to set it in the main one right here. Let's see. Custom, collision enabled, query, and physics. Oh, I don't know if you can actually even do that. Wonder why they. Yeah. I guess you can't do it by default. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. I'm not the art guy anyway. You would think it would be in here though. Physics actor? Will that do it? Probably not. Nope, because it didn't fall, right? Because if it had simulate physics on it, it would fall. So I guess you can't just manually set it to do all of them by default. Hmm. That's weird. I ain't never investigated that before. Why is it that you can set it in the level, but you can't set it to do them all by default? That's weird. Like if I select that one in the level, see right here under physics, simulate physics. Now it'll drop. See? That's really strange. And that's under the physics section. Well, that's because, well, no, that still don't make no damn sense. It doesn't even have a physics section in here, it doesn't look like. Nope, it don't. So no, you have to drag it into the level, or like Eric said, you'd have to make an actor and put it in it, and then you could. That's just weird how they do these settings and stuff in this engine. See, this has got, once you put it in the level and you select it under the details, it's got a whole entire physics section. Does it even have a collision? Yeah, it does. But this whole entire physics section is missing when you look at it this way. Weird. I'm just looking through these settings here. Nope, there's definitely not a physics section. Collision complexity. Changing that doesn't do anything. Oh well. That's just one more of them things to go, weird. All right, guys, I think I'm about to wrap it up here. That I have to say that wasn't fun, but we did manage to do it. All right, guys. With that, you guys take care. If you like this stream or you would like to contribute to the efforts here on this in preparation maybe of these projects that I'm going to be getting done sometime soon, you can click the PayPal link in the descriptions of any of these videos or in the right hand lower corner of the banner on my YouTube page. There's a link to my PayPal. This is John Galt, and we will see you in another video in another time. Have a good one, fellows.